I observe him. I'm looking at him. He does this thing sometimes with his mouth when he answers. That it seems like a tick. That I'm looking at right now. The Botox. But sometimes people move their face when they're talking in court. I don't think that shows that you a liar. But I hope nobody goes on that being like, oh well, he was doing this, or he blinked hard a couple times. I did this, so like that. Um, I wouldn't judge anybody for that because it's just, to me, it's nerves. But what he said was so fucking powerful because he recalled from 2013 all the way to 2016, before they got married, while they were married, after, and he still works for Johnny. So I am kind of like scared for tomorrow's cross side. I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that, but I think they will. One thing I didn't like is Judge Benny interrupting, not Judge Benny, but Amber's lawyer objecting every 3 or 4 minutes. And then Judge Benny pretty much just let that go over and over, saying that it was irrelevant. And everything that these people say is relevant. I don't know why he was getting interrupted so many fucking times. If this, I don't know if I'm still here. It's unstable. One thing that was very sad, it was sad to see the pictures. You can see his face that he was not happy that those pictures were shown in the courtroom, but he also knows that this is for the greater good and this is for his name and it's going to be okay. But you can see his face that he was a little bit uncomfortable with it. I think that all the drug talk and the alcohol talk and all that didn't affect him probably as much as this, because everybody's seeing a picture of with him, his scratches on his forehead, his nose. He has the black eye, the little bit, kind of like a medium-sized bruise right here, scratches here. There's a scratch here. Awful. I didn't see 2 of those 3 pictures. I don't think nobody did until today. There's one that's been circulating online for years, and it's the one that he's looking forward, and there's a bruise here, scratch, and bruise. But also there was a couple of pictures that I never seen before. So I'm sure that's kind of like, that has to hurt. But it's in the big picture of things, it's for good. Even as embarrassing as sad as it could be, it was a good Monday. I think it was great. I think he was great. And I'm just gonna go up to him. I'm sorry, I'm having so much. There's too many ads. I'm not paying for fucking premium whatever.
Your Honor, we ask that this.
Okay, I'm going to Sean, and then I'm gonna stop talking. He was interrupted so many times. It's really hard to just get to the parts because he was just chopped. This poor guy. Interrupted, I mean, as objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant. It's vague. Vague. Nothing is vague. Well, I know why. Of course I know why. What did they want to...
that Ms. Heard said to Mr. Depp while they were arguing?
I'm going back. I'm sorry. They did not want to let this guy talk. The objections were like, he was about to talk about the dog poop incident, and they didn't let him. But I think that was for housekeeping reasons. But it's still, because it was like 5:30 p.m. So I hope tomorrow he gets to talk about that and he gets to express himself on that without getting interrupted every freaking 3 minutes. It's not a great idea to be. It's not a good idea to be live right now, huh? It's so not a good idea. Everybody else is. I tried to wait as much as I could. It's 9 o'clock for me here. I try to wait, but I think who else is? I'm just gonna look at my phone because everybody's live at the same time. It's cool. Like I'm not trying to compete with nobody. I'm just having fun and I'm celebrating. I am celebrating. God damn. Oh, it's asking me for an update. Yeah, so when I look at my subscriptions, I see,
Based on your observations,
so
that Mr. was intoxicated?
yeah, Andy's live, Popcorn Planet. Dog is not live. For once, he was live all day. He was cracking me up. Doug was cracking me up. I guess that's it. So, yeah, because I like to watch his lives the most. I mean, I don't watch him because he doesn't show his face, but he just cracks me up with that accent and his voice is so awesome. I should put the captions of this guy. Oh, that's what I'm gonna do, so I can see right before they interrupt him. Hold on a second. Just want to get to the. I mean, I'm just okay. The introduction is he used to work for the LAPD for 14 years. Then he stopped because nothing mentally or anything illnessy or drugs related, which I'm glad. He stopped because he got in a few accidents, which it happens a lot, and then he decided to start doing security work, which happens a lot with ex-cops do that. Okay, I'm gonna get to this whole part where he says that Amber said all men are stupid or all men are idiots in front of him, and then she says sorry. Lily, stop it! My God, my cat. It's hard to get to the video because he's getting interrupted so many times. I usually don't have to do this 100 times.
He just, he's very likable.
Objection.
Some details.
And when you were doing state security, did you work with a certain clientele?
Okay.
I did.
Just gonna go. Just leave it like this.
It ranged from CEOs, VPs of Fortune 500 companies to certain types of celebrities as well.
How did you come to be employed by Mr. Depp?
During the course of working estate security and the type of private security, you come in contact with a lot of other individuals in security companies. What we like to call networking. So when you network with a lot of individuals, they call you from time to time to ask you if you're available to work certain days.
Another thing I love about Sean, this witness, he's like, okay, this is the judge right here, and this is the lawyers talking to him, and here's the jury, and he's like talking to the jury, which is great. And a lot of witnesses forget to do that, or they don't know how to do that, but this guy's an ex-cop, so he knows. And he's just like seriously looking at the jury and talking with his hands, talking to the jury, and it's the best thing fucking ever. Okay, maybe he's not better than Isaac. He's different than Isaac, but I like him a lot.
And since 2006, 2007, have you been employed exclusively by Mr. Depp?
I have done other work over the years on a part-time basis with other firms, but primarily within the last, I'd say, 6 to 8 years, it's been with Mr. Depp and his family.
And would you please describe for the jury your general job responsibilities when you first started working for Mr. Depp?
It was mostly state security, so we controlled the
lady who's speaking her name is Camille, and Johnny has 2 lawyers and 2 paralegals. There's like 4 people, and Camille is the one that is not Ben, obviously, and she is very good. So sweet and so nice, and so, I mean, she might be like 30 years old or something, but she seems so experienced, way better than Elaine and her Amica cream and her freaking gossipy way of being a lawyer. Elaine was awful. I'm not stopping. I'm just letting it go because he's just talking about his job and why not before and blah, blah, and after.
When I first met him,
objection what day at the foundation? I guess
he already got objected. Okay, look at hear this out. Hear this out.
I have done other work over the years on a
he gets objected right away
with other firms, but primarily within the last, I'd say, 6 to 8 years, it's been with Mr. Depp and his family.
And would you please describe for the jury your general job responsibilities when you first started working for Mr. Depp?
It was mostly state security, so we controlled the people that arrived at the estate. We were there to monitor the streets to make sure there were no overzealous fans or paparazzi that would hop fences or would try to sneak in bushes and take pictures of the family. It also entailed taking the kids or the kid's mother to school or shopping or out to dinner and things of that nature.
He's so calm. I love this guy.
And when you say the kids, do you mean Mr. Depp's children?
I do.
And who was their mother?
Vanessa Paradis.
God bless her.
Based on your observations,
Can you imagine?
Mr. Bett,
Can you imagine how
like
Vanessa
working for Mr.
feels
Depp
right
in
now
the
watching
beginning?
this? Like,
When I first met him,
Excuse objection one. What day? At the foundation, I guess. When are we talking about? Is that what you asked? Could you turn your microphone on and just.
Vague foundation,
vague.
also just relevance.
All right.
What was it like working for him?
What's the relevance?
The relevance is, Your Honor, just background, just to understand.
I'll sustain the objection. We can move on. Okay.
what the fuck?
Over the years, Mr. Bett, has your responsibilities evolved over time as you've provided protection for Mr. Depp and his family?
it has.
And how so?
I started to travel a little bit more with them out of state and then eventually out of
I'm
the
gonna
country
go
and
make some
worldwide.
tea. But I'm gonna be back in a minute. I'm just gonna let him play.
Did your interactions with Mr. Depp
Let him play. Hope he
also
doesn't get
evolve
interrupted
from
too many
beginning
times.
to now?
They did.
I need
was
my tea,
around him,
okay?
quite a bit
I have, like,
when he was in town. In the very
2 hours
beginning of my
sleep.
employment with him, school and so forth, I would be around Mr. Depp and provide security for him when he went out and about in public and so forth.
Would you please describe for the jury your general access to Mr. Depp while providing security for him?
I had access to him at any given time. He had an
Open
door
access.
policy.
Open
I had
access.
access to his residence, the inside, all the rooms at any given time in the event there was an emergency or anything like that.
And when traveling with Mr. Depp, was the access the same?
It was. I have access to his hotel room. Again, if there's an emergency, I have, wherever he's at, I make sure, and it's mandatory, that I and other security personnel have access to him.
And would you please describe for the jury?
Work for him. You're making all this money. So I hope it's not. But I'm afraid that they're gonna go on that. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Just quit? I mean,
For a term, when we're in the United States, I'm kind of his lead security guy.
Are there other members of Mr. Depp's security team?
There are.
And would you please name some of those security members?
Travis.
That would be Malcolm Conley, who primarily does his European security, although he does come from the States
Jerry
from time
Judge
to time.
is the one that passed away.
Leonard Demian, Mark Gibbs,
Okay.
Travis McGivern, Starling Jacobs.
Travis is in the list of witness. Travis.
Who is Jerry Judge?
Jerry Judge used to be his chief security individual. He was with him well over 20 years, I believe, and we lost him a few years ago to cancer.
Over the course of your employment with Mr. Depp, have you seen him consume alcohol?
I have.
How frequently?
It ranged. Sometimes
ranged.
I wouldn't see him drink at all, and there'd be other times he, would have a glass of wine or two.
And based on your observations, how would you describe Mr. Depp's demeanor after drinking alcohol?
Hey, Robert, are you watching?
His demeanor.
Wait.
Notion still
Are you
continues
there?
to be the easiest way to just get information.
Who's there? Raven Girl and Robert. Oh, are you still there? I hope you're there. Oh, I hope that this is like visible. All right. Love Sean. Oh my God, I'm like so infatuated with this guy. Not in that way, but in the good way. Like this is like the dude. This is the dude that you want to be friends with. and work for or work with. Seriously. Isaac last week and Sean this week. People are saying that Johnny Depp is going to take the stand tomorrow. I don't know if it's, I don't know if it's true, and I don't know why he would, in the second week though, but hope so. I sure hope so. Whatever he's due is going to be great. Like
It's the same as if he, had a glass of.
Oh yeah. Let's
water.
go
I
back
mean,
to
he's
this.
Just very low
He's
key.
describing him
He's easy to get
drunk,
along with, and
supposedly.
he just.
Over the course of your employment with Mr. Depp, have you seen him consume alcohol?
I have.
How frequently?
It ranged. Sometimes I wouldn't see him drink at all, and there'd be other times he, would have a glass of wine or two.
And based on your observations, how would you describe Mr. Depp's demeanor after drinking alcohol?
His demeanor is the same as if you were talking to him. I would joke around with some of the other security personnel. He's, my terminology would be he's kind of too cool for school. He goes into that kind of Jack Sparrow mode, and he just, he's very likable, whether he drinks or he doesn't drink.
Jack Sparrow mode.
Based on your observations, have you ever seen Mr. Depp appear intoxicated?
Objection leading.
Leading
Overall,
to what? It's just asking.
I've seen him slightly intoxicated.
And again, based on your
I
observations,
like this guy. He's just honest.
what is Mr. Depp's demeanor like when he appears slightly intoxicated?
It's the same as if he, had a glass of sparkling water. I mean, he's just very low key.
Mm-hmm.
He's easy to get along with, and he just seems to me. I mean, he handles alcohol a lot better than I would.
And over the course of your employment with Mr. Depp, have you ever seen him consume drugs?
I haven't.
Are you generally aware that Mr. Depp has used drugs over the years?
I am.
And how are you aware of that?
From him.
Do you know who Miss Heard is?
I do.
Who is Miss Heard?
She is Mr. Depp's ex-spouse.
The devil.
When did you first meet Miss Heard?
Devil.
It probably would have been.
You know that his
Around
demeanor changed a little bit when he started talking about her, about Amber. And it's like, this is a tough guy, and he is bothered just by her name. And he's trying not to show it, but it's like just when Camille says, have you know who Mr. Heard is, Mrs. Heard is, and like obviously he does, but he just did something with his face, like, oh gosh. I rewound it all the way. I'm so sorry. This happens because there's so many ads and I have to just keep. Sorry. It's bad today. I'm just like way too excited. It was such a good Monday, and I'm like all over.
Your Honor, I believe I've laid the foundation that he saw them frequently together when they first started dating.
Oh yeah, again, no objections
How would you
again.
Describe their relationship.
Since impossible to even listen
I'll
to
sustain
it.
Objection. Next question.
After Mr. Depp and Miss Heard started a romantic relationship, did you become familiar with any of Miss Heard's family or friends?
I did.
Which ones?
This part.
Her sister, Whitney Heard. Her good friend, Raquel or Rocky Pennington. Another friend, Io Tillett Wright. Miss Pennington's boyfriend at the time, Josh Drew.
Oh, those freaking leeches, parasites of people.
And did you have an opportunity to observe Mr. Depp's interactions with Miss Heard's family and friends?
I did.
And how would you generally describe their interactions?
He was very open and warm to them. He, offered them, whatever they needed. They were constantly coming around the estate. Eventually he let a couple of them live in his penthouses downtown for free. He would let them, a few of them, drive his nice Dodge Challenger in and around town and take on trips.
Did you have an opportunity to observe how Ms. Heard's friends and families treated Mr. Depp?
I did. They were obviously very pleasant to him because from observing, they were taking advantage of him. So they were being obviously extra nice to the hand that feeds them. And that's just progressed over a period of time.
Yes, he said that. Love this guy. I
How did
love
Ms. Heard interact with you?
Mm.
All right, that's the relevance.
Again, objection to
It's
what?
just background, Your Honor. It's
I'll sustain the objection. We can move on. Okay.
Ugh. Anyway, you guys know this is so. It was so good, but it was not fair that he gets interrupted every 2 fucking minutes. And now he has to wait until they put all the stuff together again. But he's brilliant.
Were you ever present,
brilliant.
Mr. Bett, for any conversations amongst Ms. Heard and her friends?
I was.
Can you describe any particular one that stands out to you?
My hair's killing
Objection,
me.
Your Honor. Leading calls for hearsay.
Oh my God. Why is
Well,
it?
to the extent,
okay.
Your Honor, we're offering Ms. Heard's statements. It's not hearsay.
All right. If you can lay a foundation to that. Let's see.
Why it's not here said?
Do you recall any specific instances, Mr. Bett, where you heard Ms. Heard say something to her friends?
I do.
Okay. Can you describe one of those situations?
This is a good one.
Yes. The first one, I was taking her from Mr. Depp's property to her apartment in the south end of the city that I believe Mr. Depp was paying for. She was sitting next to me in the vehicle. She was talking to a girlfriend or a friend where they were talking about another male. And she says to the girlfriend, whoever she was talking to, all men are idiots. You shouldn't trust that guy. And then she turned to me.
Okay, that's an ad. All men are idiots. You shouldn't trust a guy. And then she turned to him and say, "Not you, Sean," or something like that.
And she said, "Sorry, Sean, not you. I didn't mean that." And I just shrugged it off like it's not a big deal.
Do you remember approximately when that conversation took place?
I would say probably maybe 2012 or 13, perhaps.
Well, he knows
perhaps
her.
Even,
Dude, 2012. He just know. I love that he knows her for not a long time, but a few years, because they cannot take this guy as a joke. They need to take him serious. He was there 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Is what he's saying, and I believe it. So it's cool. It's amazing. I'm like celebrating eating my pizza because I don't drink, so I don't know what to do. But
All right. Well, I'll allow it if you could get a timeline and set it there. Okay.
that was another objection. That's what
Thank
I
you,
stopped
Your
it. It doesn't matter.
Did you
Just-
notice any changes in the relationship between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard after the initial stages of them beginning to engage in a romantic relationship?
I did.
And would you please describe those changes that you observed?
Well, I noticed they went from being that loving, almost like high school couple where they were very giddy towards each other. He was very happy. She was very happy too. They started to argue. They started to argue periodically, and then the arguing started to progress more and more and more. And it was always taking place because, Ms. Heard would start this argument.
Did you ever observe Ms. Heard drink alcohol?
I did.
How often?
I can't believe he wasn't
It
objected
just
right there.
varied. There would be
I thought he was gonna
some
be
days when I
objected.
was working
That's
that I would
cool.
see her. There would be other days I didn't
thought
see
he
her. Or
was,
she was out of
wasn't
town working. So it just really depended on when she was around. And when she was around, for the most part, she was drinking. Sometimes I'd see a glass in her hand, and sometimes I'd see her, have 2 glasses if I was in the presence
That was
of her.
cool
and
that
Mr.
she was
Depp,
not.
obviously.
He was not throwing her under the bus on the.
Based on
drinking.
your observations, did it ever appear that Ms. Heard was intoxicated?
There were times when I went into the penthouse or we were at the Hollywood estate and, based on my training experience in law enforcement, I could tell she was
Objection, Your Honor.
slightly intoxicated.
Excuse me.
So that's kind of getting getting into the realm of expert testimony. He's not a designated expert.
Again,
Perhaps we
I
can
counted 4.
have him answer the question without any citing to any experience in law enforcement, Mr. Bett.
I'll just sustain the objection. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's so annoying. I don't know what's up with Judge Benny. I hope that she has a good night's sleep today and she doesn't do this tomorrow, with all due respect. Objecting to freaking everything and then her saying next question. If this keeps happening, what's gonna happen is that we're not gonna really get to hear a lot of stuff because they jump after they object, which is a problem, and they don't go back to it. But whatever the jury heard today, which was really strong, is gonna stay in their mind, no matter how many objections, no matter how many times he gets interrupted. That objection was really fucking strange. There was nothing to object to it at all. Like irrelevant, because they say he was not an expert on drunkenness, being intoxicated or not. Of course, he's not an expert. He's just a security guy. He's not a fucking bartender. But they asked him why he saw it. He said it. And he got objective because he said that she sometimes drinks, sometimes she didn't drink. I don't know what was the negative on that. But obviously, her team does not want him to talk about her at all. Because if you watch this, you notice that every time that he starts saying something about her, and it's not a negative thing. He just said sometimes she drinks 1 glass of wine or 2 glasses of wine. He was being a gentleman about it. And he still got objected and interrupted because the thirds are just like jumping up and down. God forbid. There was a couple of objections I made. There was a couple that did not make sense at all. You're right. Raven, are you there? You're right. And I'm not even a lawyer, but like I said, just common sense. You asking the guy something, he's explaining because he was there. Of course, he's not an expert. Like I said, he's not a bartender, so he's not an expert. But for what he observed, yeah, sometimes she was drunk, sometimes he was drunk. That was totally neutral. He wasn't siding with him on that, like one fucking bit.
Downtown to the penthouse so she can relax and cool off. As we were driving downtown, she was crying. This was at the point when the arguing was taking place quite frequently. And I was telling her, I said, Amber, this can't continue. You guys are either going to kill each other or you're going to be in jail. And, with tears and everything, she says, but I love him and I'm not going to lose him. And I says, but you guys can't keep doing this. So we eventually got to the downtown apartments. She said, thank you. I dropped her off. And then I went back to the West Hollywood address.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean by
jail? Oh my God.
This can't continue when you told Ms. Heard that?
The constant arguing and bickering and so forth, because as I said, it was slowly progressing and, it was just going to turn out bad eventually.
Lily. Hey, Lily.
I believe you testified earlier that
Sorry, I need my
observed
tea.
many arguments between Mr.
Me, when I was working, saying,
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain that objection if you want to.
Mr. Bett, if you could just focus on what Ms. Heard, you overheard Ms.
This
Heard
poor guy,
say
how can he focus?
while
He's getting
observing
objected like
arguments
every
between
10
Mr. Depp and
seconds.
Ms. Heard.
I overheard her saying to him, he's a fat ass, fuck you, Johnny, and you too, Sean, at one time when, she went to throw a water bottle or a plastic cup down the stairs and it bounced kind of in Johnny's direction, but I ended up getting him and we, got out of there as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Did you ever see Ms. Heard throw anything other than a water bottle?
It was a water bottle or a coffee cup. It was something plastic.
Other than a water bottle or a plastic cup, did you ever see Ms. Heard throw anything else?
No, other than what he told me when she threw a broken bottle and sliced his finger in.
Sir, I'll sustain the objection. The jury will strike that testimony. Please just answer the question asked, and when there's an objection, do not speak, okay?
They got mad. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? You guys did. They got mad. He got judged right there. Penny is like Judge Judy today for some reason. I don't know. I liked her last week, but today she's like, they got mad. He was about to say that, yeah, she throw the plastic bottle. I think he's forgetting about the Red Bull. Red Bull is not plastic. Red Bull is a freaking can. And if she drank the Red Bull and then throw it, okay, one thing. If she didn't drink it and she throw the Red Bull when the Red Bull wasn't even open, it's a can. That's fucking heavy. I don't know if Travis was there, but the Red Bull and security guy. So I'm not saying one thing or the other, but like that happened. They say allegedly that she threw the Red Bull, and that's not plastic. But he was about to talk about the bottle that cut his finger. He was objected right there. And not even he was objected, but then Judge Penny was like, don't talk while you are, if you are an objection, just don't talk. Obviously, like this guy's been to court many times. He's a cop, he's an ex-cop, but also and for him to he has to retrace something that everybody knows about that, but whatever. They're trying to not tarnish her name. It's too late for that. He was about to talk about the glass and the finger cut. That it was thrown to his face, and who was there, because obviously it wasn't this guy. Otherwise, I would think he would remember that. So probably it was Travis or somebody else. But it was a can of Red Bull. Even if you're a tough, badass person, guy, men, women or men, you can handle it. Throw about a can of Coke right now to my face. It's gonna fucking suck, but it's not gonna be the end of the world. But that's not the point. The point is not if it's plastic or it's a can or if it's a piece of wood. The point is the violence and the fact that she cannot keep her shit together. So asking him if it was plastic, going for it was plastic or not. I see what they're doing, what they're doing, but the point is that she throws something at him. We got audio of her saying, yeah, sometimes that type of violence is not, she thinks it's okay, and it's not. Just because you don't punch somebody in the face with a closed fist, and we don't know if she did or not. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But throwing things at people, it's not the same. Yes, it is the same. It's just such a coward thing to do, and it's abuse and it's violence, man. Like, I'd rather get yelled at probably than like people throwing something in my fucking face. Not only because it's gonna leave a spot. I don't care about that. It's just it's assault. And the one thing I don't understand is with him, as much as I love this guy, I don't know why. Well, I guess because Johnny probably told him not to call the cops. Because if they call the cops on her right there, she would get arrested. Doesn't matter that she's Amber Heard. She would have got arrested. You throw anything at any face, and that's assault. So just because it was a plastic cup, a plastic bottle, and it's plastic, it's still assault to me. But I can see Johnny being the victim in the situation and the person getting abused, covering for her, and maybe saying to him, don't call nobody. Like, take her away, make her cool off, take her to a different apartment, give her, just cool her off, but don't call the cops. And that's not because she didn't deserve to, but because he was covering for her. Because that's what we do when we get abused. So we cover for people until we don't anymore. And then when we don't, it's fucking hell. Karma's coming for you, bitch. Seriously. Johnny seems so fed up today. He seems like really, like, he looks awesome. He has his hair. He looks cute as always, but you notice that his eyes, when Sean started talking about the throwing things or whatever, Johnny just looked down. And it's not because he's embarrassed. I think he is thinking, what the fuck I was thinking, and why I didn't call the cops on this crazy freaking bitch. Excuse my French. I think that's exactly what he should have done. But he's Johnny Depp, so of course you don't want to call the cops. You don't want to get attention to yourself. But to me, a plastic bottle is assault. If I don't know that it's coming, If I know it's coming, then it's not. If I don't know that it's coming towards my face, it's assault. And it doesn't matter what material it is. That's just not me saying it. That's the law. But they took a picture of the bruises and the scratches that poor Johnny had on his face, but nobody called the cops on her. And we would not be in any of this madness if the cops were called in that moment. But I see I see both sides. I do. And also he's a security person. He trusts him a lot. He's not going to do something that Johnny's not going to approve. So Sean was not going to call the cops without Johnny's approval. But I feel like somebody should have done it. Too late now, Bo. Too late now. But it's really normal for victims to cover for their abuses, and that's just like what
Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard, what happened next?
As far as a time frame, well, as I said, the arguing, when it would continue, we would always, I'd put him in the car and we'd drive back to his West Hollywood address. At which point it just depended on the week, or they would reconcile within back the next day, and they would reconcile by talking and be frequent.
Did you ever see any violence between Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp?
No.
See, that's weird because he actually
Other
did.
than the occasion when you saw Ms.
Throwing.
Heard throw something plastic in Mr. Depp's direction, did you ever see Ms. Heard hit Mr. Depp?
No.
Did you ever see any physical injuries on Ms. Heard?
I didn't.
None. None.
Did you ever see any physical injuries on Ms. Heard on occasions after Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard argued?
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation.
All right, you want a time frame to that?
On the occasions that you witnessed Ms. Heard and Mr. Depp argue, after that, did you ever see any physical injuries on Ms. Heard?
That's the same question.
God. This poor guy got objected every 2 minutes, every 2 seconds.
At any point during Ms. Heard's and Mr. Depp's relationship, did you ever see any injuries on Ms. Heard?
No.
How about on Mr. Depp?
Yes.
When did you observe injuries on Mr. Depp?
The first time would have been around 2014, I guess, in which he had his finger was damaged from an incident in Australia.
Oh, he didn't get objected then. Oh, shoot. I thought he was going to.
Do you know how Mr. Depp's finger was damaged?
Objection. Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah, I knew that was going to
It's
happen.
just background if he knows. I won't ask the
I'll
following
sustain the
question.
objection unless he was in Australia and saw it himself.
Okay.
Okay.
When else did you see injuries on Mr. Depp?
I saw
Just
Some
to the
connectivity
witness?
issues. Yeah, I
Just
don't
for the
know.
witness, that's
Okay.
correct.
I'm so
I'm sorry,
sorry.
146?
Yes, thank you,
Okay,
Your Honor.
thank you.
The plaintiffs, obviously.
I'm
Plaintiffs
sorry.
are
I'm going to
146.
make a video on Sean by himself because he deserves it. I will just post it later. If my connection is unstable again. I don't know why this happens in the evening. Doesn't happen during the day. But during the daytime, I didn't want to do that because I wanted to watch the trial.
Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
I do.
And how do you recognize it?
because I took that picture.
Boom, bam.
Why did Your Honor, we ask that this photograph please be published to the jury and admitted into evidence.
Any objection to 146?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
It's the
146,
picture
yeah.
of Johnny
Published to the jury.
with his
Thank
little
you.
bruise right here. No, left cheek. And that's how the real injury looks like.
Mr. Bett,
Real injury.
It depicts a swollen upper left cheekbone with redness to it.
Looks real, huh? No
did you notice any other injuries on Mr. Depp?
makeup.
On that specific day, no.
later in time, did you ever notice any other injuries on Mr. Depp?
I did.
Can you please describe what you recall?
I love this guy.
It was around December of that same year, 2015. He got into an argument with Miss Heard, and she scratched him, and he had injuries.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustain the objection, only your observations or
Oh
what you
my-
saw. Thank you.
All right.
Mr.
You-
Bett, can you please describe the injury that you saw on Mr. Depp?
This is why it's taking me forever to do a video just on him. God bless Sean Bett. That he only his testimony was only like, they interrupt him so freaking much that it's really hard to just get to the freaking thing, man. They ask him what Camille, Johnny's lawyer is asking, what did you saw? Can you tell us what you saw? Can you tell us can you tell us what you observed? Objection. To what? He's just saying what he saw, what he observed. How can you object to something that a person sees with their own eyes? I don't know. I'm not a paralegal, but I don't think that made any sense. Object to something that he saw when he's the one that was there seeing it. So what's the objection to? But obviously they just don't want him to talk. They really want to shut him up. They don't want already. And even if those things were objected, everybody hear it. Everybody in the courtroom, everybody on the internet. Johnny's pictures are everywhere online right now, and I am so sad because I know that he doesn't want that. But on the other hand, it has to happen for people to open their fucking eyes. Not just YouTube, but they're everywhere. The last 2 hours, his pictures with the bruise and the scratch, there's like at least 3 marks, are viral everywhere, and it's about time. But you can tell that he's hurt by it. His face, Johnny looks so sad when they're talking about this, way more sad than when they were talking about the drugs. When they were talking about the drugs and alcohol, he was like this. How real injuries look like, Amber. And Evan Richard Wood, because that's how injuries look like. There's a little bit of swollen, there's a little bit this active. This is like, I don't know, he's a little bit darker than me, probably. I think we'll have the same skin tone, maybe. No, he's darker than me, but just a little bit. But it turns first it's red, and then it turns blue, and then at the end it turns yellow, and then it goes. The fucking bruise works on anybody. You can be an albino, or you can just look like me or like Johnny, and that's what a bruise does. It's not a red little dot that it goes away the next day, or a brown little dot that it goes away the next day. That's not possible. And the scratches, my God, this is the first time I've seen this bad. The slapping and the punching is bad. The scratching, I'm saying this with my nails like all long. It's scratching somebody, you have to be really close to scratch a person. It's like, when you see real crime, or I read a lot about criminals and mostly serial killers and such. And the ones that shoot people, it's horrible to shoot people. It's bad. Don't fucking do it. But stabbing somebody is personal. Scratching somebody is personal. It's not just a throw or a punch. It's scratching. The way that those pictures look like, he looked like he got in a fucking fight with a cat, with a bad one. It's so sad. Scratching is very personal. To what state of mind she had to be in order to, the throwing, okay, well, slapping. What state of mind she has to be in order to get so close to him and scratch him over and over again? I hope that Travis, which is the other security guy, because the third guy passed away, Jerry Judge. I hope Travis, which is the guy that worked with Sean, testifies and soon, because he is the one that was there when the poop happened, and he probably saw the fights too. But what's really important about Sean is that he's the one that took the pictures of Johnny with the injuries, real injuries. He took that. How can you actually object to somebody that he took of? He used his eyes, to take a picture. So the objection is that he didn't see it. He saw it through his phone where he took the picture. So that objection, that last one was like really, I don't even know if we're all watching the same thing. The Amber Turds team is not getting a good night's sleep tonight. They are really fucking worried. And that's what objections are. Like sometimes they make sense, but usually like in a case like this, such a big profile trial, this type of objections are like 80% of the times bullshit. It's just to distract the person and to make them slow down. And that's what they're designed for. And it's dirty. It's dirty. It's a fucking dirty job to defend somebody like Amber Heard. Can you imagine? All the money in the world would not make me do that. But the objections is just so the witness gets lost, distracted, goes back, doesn't remember what he was saying before he got objected. But it's not working with Sean because Sean is an ex-cop and he knows what the fuck is going on. And if I was there and you object me a few times, you know, I have ADD and stuff, so I probably would just kind of just lost it after being objected many times. But somebody like this guy, he's not losing it. And I love it. I love how focused he is, even after objection after objections. I would be so drained by it. I would just be like, I wouldn't start lying under oath, but I probably would I would get distracted for sure. Let's just continue on the whole. Okay, so we got the scratches, we got the bruises, and Sean took the pictures of it. And that's, to me, that's like the most important thing that was said today. He's like, I took the pictures. How you know about it? Because I took the pictures.
Yes, he had scratch marks around his nose area. I believe on one of the sides of his face, in the cheek area, and then on his forehead.
And if we could just have just published to the witness, plaintiff's exhibit number 65.
And they did publish it.
65?
So sad. His face is like this is so fucked up.
And Mr. Bett, this is a 3-page document, so if I can.
There's 3 different
have Mr.
pictures.
Arnold Blair, please.
You guys
scroll
know
down.
what the pictures are. I'm gonna upload it later, without me talking.
Okay, thank you.
I will.
Do you recognize these photographs?
I do,
And how do you recognize them?
because I took them. Mid-December 15th,
And why did you take these photographs?
had injuries sustained. And
These photographs. And
Here,
Mr. Bett, would you please describe
here, and here.
what we're looking for?
above his left eye and to the right.
That's 2015.
Do you see that in
you
the
guys.
same subsequent pictures? And
Right after they got
Page 2.
married, how could you get so fucking pissed off at somebody to
Okay,
scratch the
page
fuck
2,
up face?
I see a on the right side.
same question for page 3.
So everybody can see it.
Page 3,
And
there's
they
a
all
scratch mark
watch, they all-
right under his eye.
Leading to what? He took the
Did
pictures.
you ever see any similar injuries on Miss Heard?
None.
Did you ever see any injuries on Miss Heard?
I didn't.
Did Miss Heard ever tell you she was being abused by Mr.
Like them apples, Amber.
Turning to April 21st, 2016, Mr. Bett's
That Ms. Heard was selling.
21st, 2016. This is the day that she said that the
you recall what
reckless
birthday Ms. Heard
monster
was
thing
celebrating?
happened.
I'm sorry?
do you recall what birthday Miss Heard was celebrating?
20.
I believe it was their
30th.
29th or 30th.
Your Honor, if we may, can we just remove the exhibit?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, they removed the exhibit. I was just getting pissed off already. Because
Do you
Johnny
recall
was
anything
late.
else about April 21st, 2016?
He had a meeting that afternoon, and which extended into the evening, and that was as I said, the night of her birthday party, where they got into another argument, and she had struck him in the face.
All right,
Objection, move to strike, Your Honor.
sir, if you didn't see it, you can't testify to it, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I
The
guess-
jury will strike that answer.
I guess that one, as much as I hate to say it, that one was objected correctly because he didn't see it. He was not there when it happened. So, okay. That's the only one objection that I can see. All the ones that they freaking did that actually makes a little bit of sense. I mean, it makes sense because he didn't see it. So to be fair, he didn't see it. But we believe it happened, but he didn't see it. And doesn't matter how many times he gets interrupted, the people in the courtroom are going to use the noodle. And I don't know if they're taking notes or what. I know they're not allowed to have even an Apple Watch will be a device that you can record. So, but they are allowed to take notes. They are allowed, they give them notebooks to take notes. So I hope they took a note of that there was nothing on her, at least 3 different pictures of him with real injuries, what looks like real injuries, not injuries from like getting Botox or cheek implants, Amber, or just how the shadow of the light hits on your cheek. And for example, okay, look at my face right now, right? So it's hard because I got light all around, but whatever, like this shadow right here. I'm gonna like see the shadow right there on my face from the light. I can just make it bruise right now, right there. You fucking gonna buy it. You will buy it. That's the thing with this. It's like so hard to prove that he did it. But it's also the problem with that is that if they go on the alcohol thing, they can actually say that he did things that he didn't remember doing. That's what I'm really worried about, that angle, because I remember Amber in her deposition in I guess 2 years ago saying that he didn't remember doing things, and then he said, "I'm sorry, it was the monster." So I hope that they don't do this whole, well, Johnny didn't do it, but the monster did it. He didn't do it, period. But so I hope they don't go as low as use the whole alcohol thing again. But they are going to. They're going to. The good thing today, they didn't do it today, and they're not going to do it tomorrow. Probably not. They're going to cross-examine Sean tomorrow. Amber's team is going to, and I foreseen that it's going to be good because he's such a straight up freaking guy. He's an ex-cop. I keep saying, like somebody who worked for the LAPD for 14 years. They don't fuck around with these people. I mean, he's not going to crack. But I can see maybe the third team saying something of the sorts of like, well, you are on the payroll, you make a lot of money working for Johnny. Maybe that's all they have on him. I don't think they can say anything else to break anything down. This is like pretty straightforward. And tomorrow, hopefully, he gets into the little incident with the dog, whatever was in the bed that she left behind. We know what we're talking about. And then I think we're going to have Johnny tomorrow testifying. I don't know if he's going to take the stand. I don't know why he will take the stand in week 2. Dave table as Amber and Whitney on crack. Again, with the whole medication thing, the only thing illegal that I heard about the whole line, all those lines and lines and lines, is cocaine. Everything else that he took was legal. He took much of it. Yeah, okay. All right. I don't know. I don't think they have a way to prove that is actually related to him punching anybody. And again, today was great. So that's all I got, because I feel like we're losing connectivity right now. I mean, to me, I don't have a way to know, but I think that it's quite glitchy, because somebody says it's glitchy. So I'm sorry that it's glitchy. It always happens in the evening, but the reason I do this in the evening is because during the day I was watching it. I was trying to get some rest. I work all night. And then I came home, and then I slept until about 12 p.m., 12 noon. I woke up, I started watching this, and here I am trying to make a video of it. But I'm going to upload a video just on Sean testimonies today without me talking over it. And I try to chop it in a way that you don't hear their objections every fucking 2 minutes. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Well, by phone. Well, using my phone, I might not be able to do that. It's frustrating because he gets objected over and over. And the only one objection that I felt that was fair that they objected him on was when Judge Benny said to him, well, you were not there, so you didn't see it. When he talks about the big fight in May 21st. He wasn't there during the fight, but he was there before and after. He's the one that drove Johnny back to the house. And when Amber was like, oh my God, you late, it's my birthday, and you late, it's my birthday, it's my birthday, it's my birthday, like a fucking toddler. He saw the prequel and then what happened after. Yeah, he wasn't in the room when they were fighting, but you don't have to be in the room to kind of know what's going on when after you see the person, you see them with fucking scratches on their face. I'm so glad that he actually said that he's the one that took the pictures, because they can't disprove that. They can't. Like, what are you gonna? It's my own fucking phone, and I'm the one that took the pictures. God bless him, man. Like, I'm so fucking happy. Dude, I'm so happy. I'm so happy for Johnny today. I'm not happy that he had to see himself and everybody had to look at the pictures of his face. And you can tell that it was wearing him down. Like his face today changed compared to when they were talking about the alcohol and the drugs and all that stuff. His demeanor changed. It has to hurt, man. And it's not a physical pain. It's, gosh, like even, I mean, we're nobodies. We're not famous. And can you imagine just being there and having everybody like seeing your face and your stuff and just his injuries, not hers anymore, her fake ones. So I think it was a good day. Overall, it was a good day. I'm going to end this because I don't think it's working anymore properly and it's glitchy, but I'm going to come back tomorrow. And if Johnny testifies tomorrow, I'm going to try to fix my internet as much as I can. Otherwise, I'm going to have to probably do it from my phone so we don't get this glitch that I'm getting in my computer. But thank you so much if you were watching, and thank you if you're watching after. And I'm sorry that it's glitching. There's nothing I can do about it. And yeah, any minute soon, any minute, because I think 2016 is when he was mentioned before, as the whole binge happened. So he's gonna be mentioned in a minute, and I'm gonna make a video of just, I want to do a loop over and over of them saying Marilyn Manson, drugs, Johnny Depp, Marilyn Manson, drugs. Listen, self-medicating, like I said, half of those people in the courtroom right now are self-medicating something, and it doesn't make you violent. So like, I took the pictures. When Camille said, well, how you know this images? Guess I took the pictures. It was great. She's great. I love this lawyer. He looked great. Johnny looked great. Besides, of course, he's gonna be sad because his face is out there, all injured and fucked up, and it's sad. But other than that, he looks slick. Maybe somebody told him what we're gonna do, put your hair up or something. He looks great. She looks pissed off. Amber is notice that she did, you know how I have my hair on my side, which I think she's pretty much covering her face the whole fucking time. And that's maybe because she saw herself on the fucking TV or on YouTube, and she knows what the camera is. She's an actress. She fucking knows what the camera is. So she chose to put her hair down today. I'm looking at her now. And she looks pizza. I'm going to post something just on Sean without the interruptions and the glitchiness and the objections. Thank you for watching. Thank you for comments. Just comments, like, you can send me a message or a comment telling me whatever, telling me if you get to watch it, what do you think about it? If you watch it on the live stream, if you watch it after, what do you think about the objections? Do you think the objections were okay, were fair, were not fair, half and half, 50-50? Like I said, I think one of the objections was actually with rights because Sean wasn't in the room. So that one was okay to object to, but the other ones were bullshit. And yeah, make good choices. Don't lie. And like Judge Benny said at the end of the thing, she's like, I'll see you tomorrow. take care of yourselves, take your vitamins. She said, take your vitamins. And I'm like, what is she's trying to, it's like, I don't know. I thought it was like really cute and funny that she said at the end of the court date, she said, take your vitamins. I wish I have a shot of just Amber leaving. I'm sure they'll find it on Long Crime Court TV, whatever. Because I know that Johnny, when Johnny's leaving, he's like kind of winking to his lawyer and he's like smiling. And I want to see her face when this has happened. But that's just me being a little obnoxious. The scratches, I saw the bruises before. Of course, Doug and all the channels show the pictures before, like 2 years ago, but I never knew about the scratches, and that really pissed me the fuck off today. But I don't know how, whatever they think in Virginia, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go eat, and I'll be back tomorrow. Whatever happens, that I'm sure it's gonna be good. This is actually good. This is good. This is good stuff. Hope this. You're doing this because he's paying you. I mean, like, again, what would you do if your boss is getting? I think it's try to watch something from somebody else. I'm not gonna say who. Some type of info. I'm not gonna